Over the past few years, I've bought a few cars from Copart. Some of them made me money, some were just about break even. One taught me a lesson I definitely won't forget. One is currently teaching me a skill I definitely won't forget, and I really enjoyed doing it. So you have to stick through to the end of the video to find out what that currently is. And I'm no mechanic, I'm no car trader, I'm no car flipper. I'm just a husband, father of two that still has that inner child love for cars, loud exhaust, and just ripping. Yeah, and just ripping. Now, quick backstory. I first started YouTube around 11 years ago when I purchased what was then my dream car at 19, which was a Vauxhall Corsa VXR. Everything has been documented on my YouTube channel, so if you want to watch some refreshing old content, go check the channel out. That saves me going over all the cars I bought in the past and all of that. We just want to focus on Copart in specific. Now, with that being said, if you're still here and you haven't gone to check out all the previous videos over the past few years, is it worth buying a car from Copart in 2026? My honest experience after just 5 cars. Now, we're going to start things off with this BMW 116i. Now, this I think was kind of one of those lucky purchases. It was actually the first car I bought from Copart, and I literally just went over the photos on Copart and saw it just had this bit of damage. It said it run and start. There was no categories on it. I just saw the damage, thought, okay, let's go ahead with this. And overall it came out good. Just the front end damage. I think the control arm was snapped, and it just was my daily for a few years or a couple of months, until eventually I went around a corner one day with traction kind of off, and I think something happened to the drivetrain. It started playing up, so I sold it back to Copart for around the same amount, so I actually didn't lose anything. I had it for a few months to a year, drove around, it was all good, and sold it back to Copart for pretty much break even. Now, the second car we have in question is again another BMW, but this one is a 118i. Yeah, this one I actually paid less for. It had some problems. One, it didn't have a key, so we had to go out and get a key for this particular car. And also it just had a few engine problems. Like initially it wasn't starting and it was just giving me so many issues. And that brings me to my first important thing, I guess, when starting or trying or buying cars from Copart. I am no mechanic, as I mentioned, and I do not have the tools. I didn't have the tools or anything at this time. I think I was just a bit naive with this initial whole buy from Copart stage, and I just wanted to, jump on that wave and see what I can do and whatnot. But I wouldn't say it bit me in the back. I just learned, I just had a few failures, if you can even call them failures, because again, this car again I also sold back to Copart after getting a key, getting it started again for, if not a little bit more than what I paid for it. It was not too bad, but I didn't end up actually having to drive in this car. As I said, I didn't have diagnostic tools or anything along that line, which is something that is probably ideal if you're going to go down this route of trying to repair cars and fixing them and whatnot. I actually brought this car to a garage and they just left it sitting there outside. They couldn't even be bothered with it. Eventually I just sold it back to Copart because I could not fix it. I could not diagnose what the problem was, and this was obviously down to my inexperience with this field of buying used cars from Copart. Now, the reason I even attempted to start buying cars and attempt to fix them, and the plan was to fix, sell on, etc. After buying a few cars on finance in my early years, I realized the drawbacks that they can bring, and I've always wanted to kind of build something and just get hands on and really learn how to do things on cars, but I wasn't able to do that with these higher purchases that I bought like through finance, because they were more expensive cars, and they depreciate a bit more doing stuff to them, and the chance of thing going wrong, it's just not the risk I was willing to take. So I thought buying something that's already discounted risk was just a better way of going about it. And also, as I said, learning a new experience and trying something new. But nevertheless, I did not let that stop me, and our third car we have is this Peugeot 207 Sport. Now, this car was purchased for my wife after her car before this. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, this was purchased for my wife as her just a new daily driver. And when we got it, the only damage that I did see, I think the category I got it from was damaged unrecorded, which I think is not too bad of a category. However, be very careful, because I actually genuinely think that there's people out there that the car might have some kind of mechanical damage, but they will actually crash it or make some kind of physical damage to divert the attention from the actual underlying damage. And I think that's probably what happened with the BMW 118i. But that's something to be very aware of. Now, this car in the end was actually one of the cheapest ones I've bought, and I probably would have liked to stick to this price range for the previous two cars, because I just think they were a bit more, they were less stress. And when you're buying discounted risk with not the with not a crazy budget, then it's best to probably stick to something around this price range to start with. And any little minor things can just be. Now, the only damage I said that was on this car was the wing mirror. I later traded it in for a VW Tiguan 2015. The trade-in value I got was around 1,300, so around the same price I paid for the car. So again, even after a year plus of driving, I did not lose anything from the value of the car. Let's say, I mean, you have to pay for petrol and general maintenance, but the depreciation of the car was not like that crazy. I got traded in the same value I ended up paying for it. So again, so far I think I have not lost any money on any of the cars I bought, apart from just time and frustration. We've learned and we go on. Now, the fourth and one of my favorite, not my favorite, my favorite's the last one on the list, but this was definitely up there. I absolutely love this car. With my first car being the Vauxhall Corsa VXR, this was pretty much the rival to that. And yeah, I absolutely adored this thing. It felt so good to drive, and yeah, it was just an amazing car. Now, this one I got, it was after one of the BMWs crashed out. Yeah, after that BMW crashed out, I went ahead and bought this one. Now, this one was actually a stolen and recover car. So now the issues I had with this was, obviously, because it was stolen and recover, it was ragged around a lot. And I'll not say a lot, but it was, I don't know what was done to it. But yeah, I took it forward for an inspection, and again, not a mechanic. This is something I should have done myself instead of paying Ford to do whatever inspection and MOT that they did end up doing. I think it was mainly because the key thing was messing around and I had to get that sorted in some type of way. But then again, also, if I had a diagnostic tool, I'd have probably been able to reset that, because every time I went in the car, it just kept going off like immobilizers for this, that and the other. And I took it to Ford. They just went over whatever damage they found, and it kind of just gave me a bit of reassurance that the car was actually okay. The only thing was just, you can see the wheels and a few of the control arms were just scraped up, probably from going over fields and whatnot, trying to escape police. I don't know what it went through. What I do know, however, is that this car was extremely filthy. It just had signs of drug use, alcohol misuse, it was just disgusting. So we had to go ahead and give this car a thorough clean. And then afterwards, I think at some point we did get the wheels refurbished, because they were all scraped up, so we had to get the wheels refurbished. Following that, we just had some fun with the car, drove it around. There was actually nothing mechanically wrong with the car. It drove fine. Later on, I did have to change one of the rear shock absorbers, because I put a tree stump in the back that weighed like 100 kilos, and I think that probably done something to one of the shocks. I don't think this car was meant to carry that heavy load, but yeah, we found out the hard way. In the end, we ended up fitting, I think it was a Voodoo lowline kit on this beauty. It got broken into once, but actually scared the life out of me, because obviously these Fiesta STs are known to get stolen. This one was obviously a stolen and recover one. I don't think they took anything. I think they just tried to let me know that they can break it and take it whenever they want to. So after that, we did get a disc lock, and we bought a kill switch that didn't end up fitting to it. But with the disc lock, I think that was much of a deterrent that was needed. And this was just overall a great car. Now, this car I could have sold personally for a bit more than what I actually sold it for. I went to a dealer to get it sold for me, because I just didn't have the time to wait around. I just wanted it gone like really quick. And I think they ended up selling it for 8,500. Apparently it was probably more, but that's what they told me. I am sure that it went for more. With the kit that I had on it and everything, it was easily worth it if I'd have done it myself. Around 10 to 11, I think, at the time, with the market value that it was at the time. But then again, it being a category X also affected the value negatively. And me also spending, I think, around £200-300 I think for the voodoo kit. So overall this was probably just about break even, or a lost around £500 at most, with obviously repairing the suspension, also refurbishing the wheels. But those are just like general stuff, so I wouldn't really, yeah, I didn't, this one was break even or a slight loss of £500 or less. So again, not too bad. And to experience such a nice car again after, you know, having my VXR, this was the rival, so it was just really nice to dabble in both of them. I think the next one I'd like is the Clio 197. That's a nice one. For the final car, which is also my favorite car and the second time I've actually owned this particular model. Now, after watching my previous video, then the car that we currently have at number 5 is my current daily driver, which is this beautiful white BMW 118D Sport. I don't know what the Sport stands for. I don't see how this, I guess it's a Sport because it's a coupe, but in terms of sport features, I mean, I don't really know. I think, you know, companies just add titles to cars to increase values and make it more desirable. But yeah, it's it's a nice car that I have to give it that. And it's the second time, as I said, I have owned this platform of car, the e-chassis variant. And as normal, when I'm just doing these checks and looking for cars on Copart, this is something I tend to do, you know, just look through the MOT history, go on Auto Trader to see the value of, you know, a ballpark value of based on mileage, color, maybe similar damage, and you know what they do go for. And I use that to kind of also help gauge the amounts that I'm willing to, you know, obtain this car for. But this car around this mile, they have a particular problem that I'll probably get into talking to if I make a video about owning this generation of BMW, because I think they will be a classic in the future. It's another reason why I do like them so much, because it's the only 1 Series coupe variant. I mean, after this generation, they moved on to the 1 Series being the 2 Series. So yeah, it's a unicorn in my opinion. And just like how the E46s and the E30s are so desirable like 20-30 years later, I think this is one of them that will be absolutely just amazing, especially the 1Ms. Like, oh my days, the 1Ms are just, it's another reason why I just love this car, this platform so much. But and it makes me excited to, you know, get ahead and start getting more hands-on and doing work and stuff to this thing. Now, if you made it to the end of the video, mostly appreciated. I'll put on screen also how much this car actually costs with all the fees and whatnot, and hopefully this breakdown kind of somewhat added some kind of value if you are or you was genuinely considering to get something from Copart. It's something I would 100% do again. Obviously there are more research tools out there to help you to, you know, make sure you're not buying something that's been clocked back or crashed multiple times or this, that and the other. But ultimately you are buying discounted risk, and the best way to go about it is just to go about it. I just went about doing it and just attempting to do it, and this is where we've ended up after all these years. Yes, you have people with crazy success stories and a lot more capital that can do a lot more things, but we are all in a different position or situation in life. So if it's something you're passionate about, find a way to just do it. There was actually a car on here that I really wanted to get before this, and it was a Honda Civic EK3 or EP3, not EP3. Oh man, I'll see if I can find a photo and put it up on screen. But there was genuinely a car that I was gonna get before this that would have probably been like £500, but I just thought that car would have probably been not ideally to be a daily driver, because it probably needed a bit more stuff done to it. That being said, I am pleased with this purchase, and because of the chassis and the parts it shares and the components it shares with other platforms that I desire, I just want to really get hands on, and you know, once I have the time, just dive in. Once the sun comes out and it's not raining, as we found out after doing some work in the rain the other day. That video will then be posted in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. We'll get to it when we get to it, but no promises. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you took some kind of value away. I genuinely appreciate support from the last video and from this video. Leave a comment below if there's anything I did not cover and you'd like to find out about. If I have any knowledge, I will share in the comments below. And that being said, enjoy, go watch another video, and I will see you in a few months.